Hello there, kids! You guys might already recognize the stars, the moon, sun, even Jupiter and the other magical of the outer space. Do you know that space has weather? You might think it might be summer on the moon. Well, let me and Mrs. Pilot open your mind wider about the space weather. So what is space weather? Space weather is an activity on the sun's surfaces that release a type of weather, caused space weather. Even the sun is really far away, around 150 million kilometers from the Earth. It still can affect the Earth and the rest of the solar system. There are lots of space weather we will explore today. Solar winds, solar flares, coronal mass ejection, and geomagnetic storm. Solar wind. Have you ever felt the wind blowing on Earth? Well, did you know the sun has its own wind too? It's called the solar wind. The sun is super hot, even hotter than you can imagine. Because it's so hot, tiny pieces of gas called particles fly away from it, rushing out into space. These invisible particles travel really, really fast, like millions of kilometers every hour. They spread out from the sun in all directions. When the solar wind reaches Earth, our magnetic field acts like a big invisible shield. It protects us from most of those particles. Some solar wind particles sneak in near the north and south poles. When they hit the air, they make amazing glowing lights called auroras, like magic in the sky. Next, solar flare. The sun has storms too, and when it gets really wild, it shoots out a solar flare. A solar flare is a huge burst of light and energy that happens when the sun's magnetic fields suddenly twist and snap, kind of like when you stretch a rubber band and it breaks. Snap! When that happens, the sun releases a blast of radiation and light, much brighter than millions of lightning bolts all at once. Alright, let's go to coronal mass. Remember the solar wind, the sun's invisible breath that blows through space? Well, sometimes the sun does something way bigger and more powerful. It blasts out a huge bubble of energy called a coronal mass ejection, or CME for short. The sun's surface is super busy. It has magnetic fields that twist, pull, and snap like rubber bands. When they snap too hard, boom! The sun throws out a giant cloud of hot gas and energy into space. That's the CME. These explosions shoot millions of tons of particles out into space, super fast, faster than a rocket. Sometimes they even reach planets like Earth. When a CME heads toward Earth, our magnetic shield protects us, just like with the solar wind. But CMEs are much stronger. They can make bright auroras and sometimes cause power or satellite problems if they're really big. Scientists use special telescopes and satellites to watch the sun every day. That way, they can warn us when a big CME is coming, just like a weather forecast for space. Last mission for today is geomagnetic storm. You've learned about solar winds, solar flares, and geomagnetic storms. Lastly, let's meet one of the sun's most powerful events, the radiation storm. Sometimes, when the sun has a big explosion, like a solar flare or a coronal mass ejection, it blasts out super fast particles called solar and energetic particles. These are tiny bits of energy flying through space at nearly the speed of light. When these energetic particles rush toward Earth, we call it a radiation storm, kind of like a rainstorm. But instead of raindrops, it's full of fast, invisible energy. These storms are strongest above Earth's atmosphere, so they can be dangerous for astronauts or satellites in space. That's why scientists watch the sun closely to warn space travelers to stay safe. They even help airlines and astronauts plan safe routes through space. So, a radiation storm is the sun's superburst of fast, invisible energy. It reminds us that space can be powerful, and that our planet's shields are amazing protectors. We hope you can catch up every magical we have explored together today. Do not forget, space weather can bring bad effects toward all human beings. See you there, small brave explorer. Bye-bye.